Hello busy gamers, and welcome to the first video in this brand new series that I'm calling UEFN Academy, where I'll be doing easy tutorials for those of you that want to learn how to make maps in UEFN or Unreal Editor for Fortnite. So in this video we're going to go over the different tools that you can use in landscape mode on a UEFN map. So starting off with the sculpt tool, this will allow you to sculpt the different terrain based on the brush size that you have and the strength of the tool. Like right now I only have it at a 0.05 setting, but as I gradually go over this spot here, you can see that it's raising up the terrain, making a nice little hill or a mountain area, and that will create some good different levels of height for you. Now then we have the erase tool, which is pretty self-explaining. You can erase stuff that you did on your terrain, simply going over it like that. Now the smooth tool, what this will do is if you already have like a piece of terrain like this, the smooth tool will smooth it out, making it a little bit more like a hill. So like I can go over this little piece of terrain here, and as you can see, it starts to become like a grassy hill. And of course you can adjust these as much as you want to get the right look that you're going for. The flatten tool is pretty basic as well. Like you can either have it flatten at a specific height, whether it's above or below, but the real trick with the flatten tool is being able to adjust the height of the stuff you're making to be able to build like POIs or buildings on it. For example, in order to do that, you click this little box here called flatten to target, and then the main magic number that you need to remember for any build height, whether up or down, is 384, because that will allow you to create a piece of terrain that goes up one build height. Then now you may not be able to see it, but it's like a very tiny like hill, so not too much there. So same thing, like let's say 0, you want to have a 0 height kind of thing. Let's try doing something a little bit higher. So like two builds high would be 786. And we'll change that. And there you go. Start to brush it a little bit, and it creates this nice little mound that you can put buildings on. And that's going to be huge if you're trying to make POIs for like a battle royale map specifically, which is something that I'm personally trying to learn how to do, is make a BR map. So this will be helpful if you're trying to make POIs. Now, with these different brushes, what you can also do is have like a mask on your brush, or even like a tile. Like look at that, like you can make a checkerboard kind of thing with that. And you can make like rolling hills on there. This is really like another, now the ramp tool is pretty self-explanatory too. So what you'll do with the ramp tool is you'll click two different points that you want to put for your ramp. So we'll do one on the ground and then one a little bit higher. You can even raise it up to where you want it to go. And then you can adjust the width of the ramp or the side fall off of the ramp. And then you click add ramp. And as you can see, it built the ramp for you. So this will be great like if you're trying to go up or down terrain in a map that you're building. And this is great for even just creating like simple tracks to go off of. Erosion, it will be able to create that like rocky, like worn out effect on your terrain. And it'll make the rock edges look a lot more toned down. Same thing with hydro. It can be stuff you see like from rain or rivers or anything like that. Noise. The noise tool, I'll show you an example of how to do this with the edges of your map. So let's make the brush size as big as we can for this. And we'll keep our brush strength at 0.05, but the noise tool will allow you to reduce the like it'll allow you to lower the edges of your map to give you the room that you need for your island. Like let's say you're making an island. You would want to lower these edges so that you can create the basic shape of your island. And look at that, it creates a nice little cliff that you can have for your island too. And for corners, as long as you round off the corners, you can create a nice little outline for your island. Now the visibility tool, this one is a little bit different. So what we're gonna do is use the flatten tool to create a big piece of terrain. So I'll make a big piece of terrain here, like let's say like this. So what the visibility tool will do is allow you to create caves with your terrain. So like let's reduce the size of our brush down to a tiny amount and we'll click into it. So like you'll see that it looks a little empty, but what this will do is, like I said, it will allow you to create a nice little opening that you can use to add in a cave for your terrain. Now you can undo this by holding the shift key and just simply painting over it, and that brings it back to what it was. Mirror, you probably won't use the mirror tool as often, but what it will do is it will create a replica of one side of your island to the other side. So this can make creating your island a little bit faster, as you will see, because mirror will allow you to do what you did to the first half of your island on the other half. And as you can see, it even made my mound here a little bit bigger. And we won't go into the select or copy ones much, but they'll pretty much do a lot of the similar stuff here. You can even clear it. Now, before we end the video for this first one, I want to show you a really cool trick that you can do with the ramp. Let's say you want to create a mountain for your area, for your map or whatever you're making. So to do that, we'll create the ramp, and let's say I want to have it at a decent sized height for my mountain. So let's make sure I have a good height there, and then I want to make the width of it a little bit wider, and then we will add ramp. Now what we're going to do next to make the mountain that I'm talking about is I will move the bottom section of the ramp over like a 90-degree angle, and then I'll add a section, and we'll do this all the way around until we get the shape of a mountain that we want. And you can make these mountains as big or as small as you want to. So like you can drag it farther out and create a section like that over here. But the main point is that you want to create, it'll help you create a more realistic looking mountain. So let me finish up a couple more spots here, and then I'll show you how to make it look a little bit more realistic. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna use the smooth tool to go over these edges. We'll go over the edges of the mountain here, make my brush size a little bit bigger for this. So we'll smooth out the edges here. We can even use some of the erosion to get that nice effect there. But for the rest of this, we'll smooth it out and get the edges looking a little bit more blended. But as you can see, it makes this look more like a realistic mountain. You just have to take a little bit of time. This is more of a quick design that I was going to show for you. But if you take your time and choose how high you want it and the shape that you want it, you can create a pretty decent sized looking mountain for your terrain. And you can even use the erosion tool or the hydro tool to kind of make it look more worn out from all the weather or anything. Overall, you still want to have it look a little bit more realistic. See, that looks pretty well. That looks nice actually. So I hope you enjoyed this first tutorial on my new UEFN Academy series, and I hope that you'll stick around every week that I upload a new episode, because over the course of the next month I want to be able to develop an island, a mini BR that I can call my own and will be able to share with all of you to play on. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Keep learning, keep playing, and I will see you in the next video.